welcome to Trey and Natalie and Trey.
Oh, it's you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Trey, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I want to share my journey, where I started, who helped me, and the lessons that kept me going. I hope my story can inspire someone the way others inspired me. Let me begin by saying thank you to all the teachers, educators, coaches, and parents out there. You are making a difference. You may not always see it right away, but the work you do truly changes lives. I know that because it changed mine. Let me take you back to the beginning. I was my parents' first child from the very beginning. My mom knew I was special. She had something unique in me, but like many first-time parents, she heard a lot of advice from others. Things like, boys take longer to talk, or he probably just like Einstein. Some even say it could be something called Einstein syndrome, where kids are late to talk but are highly intelligent. But my mom trusted her instincts. At 18 months old, she got me involved in DDI fantasy services, where I began speech and play therapy. I was nonverbal, had delays in body training, and I used to chew on my shirt constantly. I was also very passionate. I love hugging people, even if it wasn't the right time. I went to preschool and continued getting early intervention services. My parents were hopeful, but also worried. It was hard, not having clear answer. Every new evaluation brought more questions. There were moments of doubt, fear, and frustration. Even though specialties ran on mom's side of the family, no one could say for sure what was going on. It was a time of confusion and concern, and my parents were doing their best to advocate for me while navigating the unknown. Then something happened that changed my life. When I was 4 years old, I was attending preschool in a public school in a different school district. One day, my mom opened my backpack and found something unexpected, a handwritten letter from my teacher. In it, she saw something more in me. She didn't know exactly what, but she knew something was missing, and she was encouraged my parents to get me evaluated. That letter, just a few observant words from teacher, changed the course of my life forever. To this day, my mom keeps that letter because without it, I don't know where I'd be. My parents followed the teacher's advice and scheduled an appointment with the Office of Children with Special Health Care Needs. That's when I was officially diagnosed with autism. Now I want to take a moment to talk about something that can be hard for her families, labels. There was a time when I didn't want to know people I had autism. I didn't want to be treated differently. I didn't want anyone to think less of me. But I had grown. I realized something important. I am not defined by my diagnosis. Autism is a part of me, but it's not all me. Andre, I have goals, I have talents, and a big heart, and a story that matters. I just happen to have autism. In fact, having autism has actually enriched my life because of my diagnosis. I've been able to meet and work with some of the best human beings in the world. Teachers, coaches, teammates, therapists, and friends. I have opportunities I might never have had otherwise, and I see the power of kindness, patience, and inclusion firsthand. A diagnosis didn't limit me, it opened doors. Once I had the diagnosis, I could receive more help in school. I got speech services. I was able to have a paraeducator. I got occupational therapy. I had an IEP, an individualized education plan. It meant my teacher understood how to support me. It meant I had goals that matched what I needed. And more importantly, that it meant that I had a team behind me. So yes, labels can be scary, but when used the right way, they can be tools to get support, tools to be seen, tools to grow. I was in a mainstream public school, and autism wasn't well understood 25 years ago as it is today. I received speech and occupational therapy through private children's in rehab in Taylorsville. That therapy taught me how to deal with my speech issues, occupational needs, and sensory integration challenges. It's also helped me with redirections and improved my attention span. But then I had so much energy, I could flap my hands, run back and forth, and thanks to my strategy, I learned in therapy. My parents and teacher worked together to help me drive. I was sometimes wore a weighted vest to help me feel calm and regulated. I had surgery breaks where I could jump on a trampoline. I had a band around my chair legs to keep me grounded while I was sitting. These small adjustments made a huge difference. Keeping my life a full routine, redirections, and regular check-ins helped me succeed, and most importantly, between my parents, teachers, and paraeducators was constant. Whenever something came up, they found new ways to help me drive. In 2006, my parents enrolled me in Spectrum Academy. They were so excited for a school specifically for kids on autism. Spectrum was opening, and I was chosen to attend it as soon as it opened, but not long after started I began to regress. My parents recognized the signs quickly. They pulled me out and placed me back into public school, where I once again began to drive, only A's and B's. When I was in 4th grade, my family decided to move me to charter school, then went all the way to 12th grade. The idea was to just do the new development without having to keep transitioning schools. It was a hard transition, but the school couldn't provide me some of the services I was used to. If my behavior was the idea, I'd lose recess, but I needed recess for stimulation. I got in trouble repeatedly with things like name tags, which is just my way of focusing. My parents helped the school realize I needed something to finish with. School was academically rigorous and focused on character building. My parents never stopped fighting for accommodations and services. I was entitled under my IEP. Eventually, school was considered holding me back to repeat sixth grade. They thought I wasn't ready for the changes that came with junior high, but academically I was doing well. I just needed help navigating the changing environment, my emotions, and my special language. After a very important meeting with the school leadership and special education team, the decision was made to let me move on to seventh grade. And it turns out it was the right call. The shorter class periods and transition between subjects helped me drive. Even the special education director emailed my parents saying she was wrong. She could see how much I was growing. It was an important reminder to listen to the students and their parents, and they know their needs better than anyone. In high school, I took very challenging classes: Latin, Physics, Honors, Language Arts, World Geography, Algebra 2, Literature, and even advanced orchestra. In case you didn't know, I played the viola. I might be a little rusty, but I can still remember how. It wasn't easy. I had hours of homework each night. I was also bullied by two girls in my orchestra class. They picked on me because I was better at viola than they were. My mom eventually talked to the teacher and I was moved away from them. But I kept showing up. I kept working hard. Teacher and counselors never gave up on me. They challenged me. They believed in me. They did lower the bar. They gave me tools to reach it. I stayed in school until 11th grade. Eventually, the charter school wasn't working for me or my sister anymore, and we transitioned to the different one. My mom knew about South Valley in the Jordan district and arranged for a representative to visit my school and talk about services. The principal was so impressed he had never heard of it before. Later, he found out that another student from my graduating class also transitioned to South Valley because of that meeting. I ultimately graduated with a certificate of completion, but was 0.25 credits short of a diploma. But that was a plan because I knew what was coming next. Thanks to my work during my senior year, I was able to transition to South Valley School, the Jordan district. In the Jordan district, South Valley is a school that provides personal growth, builds self-confidence, and it creates enthusiasm for learning that truly enhances your quality of life. That was exactly my experience. At South Valley, I learned how to connect and build friendships with other students and teachers. I learned real-life skills like riding a bus, doing laundry, and budgeting my money. These skills made me feel more independent and more capable of handling adult life. My teacher Bob was really kind and thoughtful. He pushed me to reach out and interact with other students and make friends when it felt hard. That support meant a lot. I also learned how to keep different recipes. One of my favorite memories was a trip to the Kimball Hotel downtown. We had to plan everything, what train to take, when to switch lines, and how to find our way once we got here. At first, we were suffer. After practicing, I felt more confident that the experience told me I could travel slow and trust in myself. My teacher Cody believed in me and showed me how to use a 3D printer. I got to print infinity cubes like this one and other good things. Cody even wrote a little recommendation for me to become an athlete at the Special Olympics World Games in Turin, Italy last March. Programs like South Valley are essential not just special needs community but for the community as a whole. They will teach individuals job skills and inclusive by connecting with local businesses. They help students live meaningful and connected lives. South Valley became one of the most important parts of my journey. After graduating in 2023, I moved into a new chapter of my life, adult life, and started as a volunteer at Smith's Farm and Greenhouse. And now I have paid a seasonal job there from March through October. In the spring, I was doing transplanting in the production plant. Transplanting is when we move plants from one pot to usually a bigger pot. In the summer, I work in the produce stand, meeting people and helping customers. In the fall, I work at a pumpkin patch. This is always fun because I enjoy hot chocolate and donuts with my coworkers. I also build routines that keep me busy, like doing laundry and mowing the lawn. In my free time, I would enjoy video games, listening to music, making Spotify playlists, and watching Star Wars and Disney movies. Sports are a big part of my life too. I love soccer, bowling, dancing, bocce, and top golf. I learned to stand up for myself by advocating what I need, doing interviews, and even public speaking. I'm proud to say embracing my leadership role and working to promote inclusion. Being a part of the Special Olympics community means a lot to me. It's where I feel accepted and motivated to be my best. One of the most meaningful parts of my life has been being involved with Special Olympics. When I first joined, I found so much more than a place to compete. I found a place where I belonged. I was surrounded by people who accepted me, encouraged me, and helped me to grow. I started bowling, then added soccer, bocce, and top golf. Eventually, I tried something totally new, dance. I never danced before, but I instantly loved it. Through all these sports, I became stronger, physically and mentally and emotionally. I learned how to be a good teammate, how to stay committed, and how to believe in myself. Special learning helped me build confidence, friendship, and pride in my abilities. Then something incredible happened. I was selected to represent Utah at the Special Olympics Sport Game in Turin, Italy. I was just one of the 4 athletes chosen to represent not only Utah but also the United States in that sport. Even now, it's hard to describe how much that meant to me. It was one of the greatest honors of my life. I was trained for months now, alongside my close friend, Natalie. Together, we prepared a duet for performance that will be judged on a world stage. When we arrived in Italy, everything felt larger than life. There were athletes from all around the world. We marched in the opening ceremony, danced our hearts out, and celebrated one of another's victory. We traded pens, we cheered from the sideline, and made unforgettable memories. One of my favorite parts was pen trading. It was kind of like being indoors, being like a traveling salesperson. You walked up to someone, sold them your lessons, and see if they want to make a trade. Every saying was a new chance to meet someone different place. It was exciting, friendly, and full of connection. Being in Italy showed me that people with disabilities can achieve anything. We are athletes, we are leaders, and we belong on every stage, in sports and in our community. That trip changed my life forever, and getting to celebrate with Natalie made it even more meaningful. As I look back from the journey from a child who needed early intervention to an adult who now speaks, competes, and leads, I learned a few things. I hope you'll remember. Kids that with autism can grow up to be successful adults. Teachers can change lives with just one moment of kindness or belief. A diagnosis is not a limitation, it's the key to understanding and support. And everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and understood. I learned that it's okay to need help and it's actually brave to ask for it. I learned that giving help to others is just as important. We need to grow by helping each other. I went from a little kid who flapped his arms and hands and needed redirection to a young man who advocates for inclusion and represents his country on the world stage. I didn't get here alone. I got here because of the people who believed in me, pushed me, and taught me to serve beside me. Growth didn't always come in big moments. Sometimes it's quiet, like learning how to tie your shoes, or ride the bus, or speak up in class. But those small steps, they matter. They add up. They lead to big changes. So if you're a student or a parent wondering what's next, or a teacher, if you're of what you're doing makes a difference, please hear this. You're not alone. You're not stuck, and your effort matters. Because every time someone believed in me, it changed my life. And now I get to be that person for someone else. To every teacher who shows up with patience, to every parent who refuses to give up, to every coach who pushes us to be better, and to every friend who listens and supports, thank you. You may not always see the impact you're making in the moment, but I promise you, you are changing lives. You changed mine. To credible teachers, parent educator, coaches, South Valley staff, my friends, and most of all, my parents. You saw past my diagnosis and into my potential. Because of that, I was able to go into the person I am today. I learned that it's not a student's job to teach a teacher of who they are. And it's not a child's job to teach a parent who they are either. It's a job for adults to take time to learn, to listen, and to understand. That's how we drive. To all the educators and families out there, keep showing up and keep speaking up and keep believing. And to those who are still figuring things out, don't give up. You can do this. Keep working, keep dreaming, keep believing in yourself, because the world needs what you have to offer. You might be the reason somebody else makes it. Just like so many who were for me. Thank you, and here's Natalie.
Hello everyone, and thank you for inviting Trey and I to talk to you this morning. I see a lot of familiar faces, and it's nice to come back and talk with everyone. I want to start by telling you about who I am. I was just 10 weeks old when my family moved to Utah, and I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when I started having seizures as a baby. It took a while for doctors to figure it all out, but when I was 7 months old, I had a CAT scan, a type of brain scan that confirmed I had an in utero stroke before I was born. This means I have cerebral palsy, I have a mild paralysis on my left side, I have an intellectual delay, I have a lot of speech therapy and physical therapy, and an occupational therapy. I probably have had more Botox than most of you. The Botox was for my arm and leg, though, not my face. I can still do okay. I had to have surgery on my eyes so that I could see. I have a vision field cut, which basically means what I see is front to the right. When people say they are blindsided or it came from the left field, that's when it's like for me all the time. None of that stops me from being me. It's part of who I am, but that's not all that I am. One of the really important things that happened when I was young started in school. My mom and dad made sure that teachers had a letter to tell me about me. I had some things I had to work on, but teachers needed to know who I was first. A conversation was started and kept going. Teachers and paras could help better if they knew things like what I needed to help with and what I could work on to be more independent. What my seizures look like, what they should and shouldn't do if I had a seizure, what to do if something was different, like if my seizures wouldn't stop or if I got hurt. But you know, I was a really cute kid. I love my teachers and paras, and I love my classmates. I was a student, and I was a friend. I was Natalie to everyone, and not just a girl with CP. I went to a lot of different schools in the Jordan district. I think that's why I know a lot of you, or why you may know you may know me. I was everywhere. I started in early intervention at Bluffdale Elementary. I was really important to start early because there are
Sorry.
It's okay, Trey. Early because there are a lot of different things I had to practice, like how to hold a piece of paper on the table so I could write and draw on it, or learning how to cut with scissors was with stuff that other kids wouldn't think about. I also learned what it was like to be in a classroom. It was the first time I met other students who were like me, but it had different abilities and needs. When you grow up, you realize that everyone is different and everyone needs help at times. It's just not as obvious. I started kindergarten in my home school and stayed back for another year. When I went to public school, there was only one other student in my class who had a disability. It was mainstream and a big change. Started back meant meeting a new class too. Starting in first grade, I went to another new school with a cluster programs and mainstreaming. I still know and talk to my teachers and parents from when I was at Tara Linda. That's how much they mean to me. My class was together for 3 years before the program moved to South Jordan Elementary. Most of the students in my class moved with me, but not all of them did. Welby, Tara Linda, and South Jordan Elementary were all really good schools with support from administration and from students. Sports day were a lot of fun. I started playing soccer in 2009. I loved being active and wanted to be out there playing with my friends. It was when I was at South Jordan Elementary that I had brain surgery that stopped my seizures, which had been getting worse as I got older. Had a lot of support from everyone. Classmates who I looked after each other, teachers who were supportive and kept me on track. When I got back to school in 2011, I wasn't having seizures in class and I could play outside without having a seizure. My family hosted a 5K for epilepsy awareness, and a lot of my teachers came out for that, and it meant a lot to me to see everyone from school who showed up. We learned about the Special Olympics then too, and I started competing in Special Olympics programs. Elkridge was where I went to middle school. It was another really, really good experience, shaped by teachers there. My teacher was a first-year special education teacher, and I think she was excited as I was to be there. We were her chickadees, and we still go by that. There was a huge change with hallway schedules and bells, and being a middle schooler. Teachers were really engaged and got to know me. There were paras for me in cluster and mainstream. In 2016, I auditioned for the very first unified soccer team sponsored by Real Salt Lake and was selected to be on the team. Math was always a hard subject, so during middle school, I started going to summer school in South Valley to keep up with what I learned. I liked South Valley because it was more than just math. I had other classes like skills that were set up to help me be more independent and explore stuff like yoga. Meditation, reflection, mindfulness are all good things for mental health, for coping, and for understanding. Sometimes when I get mad, I want to kick a soccer ball in someone's face. Now I can say that I need more yoga. When I started high school, I went to Bingham for my first year. My oldest sister was a senior, and I had a good friend named Courtney who made a big difference when I was there. But it was a really big school, and the classes were far apart. The hallways were crowded, and I wasn't able to participate the same way I did in middle school. I didn't have paras, and a lot of teachers in mainstream classes didn't know about combinations. when Marissa and Courtney graduated, I was going to be on my own, and I was worried about that. I needed some support, and I needed a place where I would be accepted. RSL Academy, now Salt Lake Academy, was a new public charter school, and I mentioned already that I was a pretty big deal now that I was playing for RSL Unified, ha ha ha. They opened for their first year when I joined them for 11th grade, and there were a lot of reasons that this worked out really well. The school was smaller and the halls were easier to walk in. They also had a cluster program with mainstreaming, and there was good para support. Classes were really challenging, but I got a lot of teacher support in the mainstream classes. It wasn't easy because they expected a lot, and that was okay as long as I could talk to them when I needed help. I was able to take classes in leadership marketing and digital illustration. That was really helpful for me to explore things I was interested in. I was able to try out and be selected for the girls' soccer team. I was also elected to be a student body officer. I was the chief diversity officer in my senior year. I also became a Special Olympics ambassador and went to the USA Games as a youth leader, then to the World Games in Abu Dhabi as a Special Olympics staff and training person for marketing and social media. I graduated in 2019 from RSL Academy High School. We talked about transition options, and I wanted to graduate with my class. There are different paths for different students, but I think that my whole school experience had taught me about leadership and advocacy, and to use Tim Shriver's words, show the world what it looks like to lead from the heart. So where did I learn all these things? This slide is some of my favorite pictures from school. My teachers believed in me and invested their time in helping me become who I am today. Teachers encouraged me, teachers supported me, and teachers taught me to be independent. Teachers talked about what was possible. Teachers expected me to commit and be accountable. Teachers recognized my work and pushed me for more. Teachers celebrated my accomplishments. Teachers treated me like someone with a future. My parents were with me in the classroom, in mainstream, and on the playground. They met me in the school line. They helped me in class. They kept me on track with schedules and assignments. They sat with me at lunch. They took time to explain things to help me understand the work. They were there while I did the work, and they were there to show me that I could do hard things. Paras were there for me when I had seizures. Paras were there when I needed some help in the lunchroom or bathroom to clean up and be ready. Paras were the ones who kept an eye on everything and made sure that teachers and my parents knew what was going on. I love my paras. This picture is from when I came back and presented in Miss Mare's class, so her students could ask questions about what they would see in high school. Whatever it's in class, in the hallways, at lunch, in gym, or on the field, there are important interactions taking place. We stand up for each other. We learn from each other. We become friends. We can mentor each other and share experiences. I'm grateful that I get to go back and talk with students about my journey in school. I have gone back and spoken at school in the same classroom that I attended so that I can talk with students about school. I decided what it's like for me to have graduated and to answer questions about what it was like in high school or after transition. And that means a lot to me and to them. This picture is of the entire high school girls soccer team who came out to support me at a Best Buddies walk in West Jordan. They all showed up for me, and I'm so proud to be a part of this team. The picture in the corner is of when our team won the championship tournament at the end of the year and got to celebrate. This happened because I was encouraged to try out for this team, for the girls soccer team. This happened because we practiced and played as a team. This happened because we gave respect to each other and supported our teammates. This happened because we bonded over something we loved. Sports is one of the best ways that people with and without disabilities can learn and get to know each other. If your school is a Special Olympics champion school, I encourage you to be part of it. If you don't have Special Olympics, I encourage you to learn about their programs. Whatever you have, Special Olympics or not, build a culture of respect and inclusion where you are. I have always loved art, and if you know me or follow me, you will see a lot of art coming from me. I was part of the Reflections program in elementary school, and that encouraged me to get better and grow as an artist. I use my art to brighten people's day. Where is Miss Mayer? You'll have to ask her about my chickadee art on her whiteboard in middle school. My art is part of who I am. I celebrate and connect with art. I advocate and communicate with my art. As a disabled artist, I use an iPad with Procreate so that I can draw more easily on the tablet, and that allows me to produce and share art more easily. Today I make art, but I also design logos and custom socks, jerseys and scarves, posters, banners, and I am currently writing a book with my sister. I designed the Special Olympics Team USA sticker for the World Winter Games in Italy this year. I also designed the Law Enforcement Torch Run t-shirt for our 2025 fundraising efforts. Do you know what a dream board is? Part of my art was creating a vision of what I wanted to achieve and using that to create goals for me. Art and expression at school was important because it helped me express who I was and helped me image what was possible. Imagine what was possible. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on at school that I want to recognize too, because all of this helped shape who I am today. My identity and sense of belonging are part of the inclusion I found because I could be part of field trips, sports programs, participate in choir, or be a cast member in a play, or submit art with PTA reflections, or plan a dance with the student body officers. We need to find ways to help students with disabilities be more involved in clubs and junior achievement and with city youth councils. Individuals, plans, and 504s take a lot of time, but they will matter a lot if you can write meaningful goals and accommodations. There are simple things you can do. Tapping a paper on a desk is an accommodation for someone who can't hold the paper. A paper holder is another simple tool because I can't use my left hand. The microphone stand helps me because it lets me read from my script more easily. Giving extra time for an assignment or leaving a few minutes early to get to the next class can help. Being allowed to use a specific bathroom or some privacy and extra time to change clothes in a locker room can make a huge difference too. Mainstream teachers are encouraged to be part of IEPs. One thing that I heard in schools was from teachers who were afraid of the IEP process because they didn't think they had anything to contribute, but in most cases they do. Be creative. If something isn't working or if a goal isn't being met, be willing to make changes. Parents should be involved. Send early drafts of work in progress and invite contributions to writing goals. Ask parents if they understand and support the goals. Take time to answer questions about the goals and how they contribute to goal writing and goal achievement. IEPs are a really good time to talk with parents. Technology can be a fidget device or safety scissors or a tablet or a wheelchair or a type to speak program. Technology can help, but it isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's the only answer. There are really cool presentations from Utah Assistive Technology Program at USU about different kinds of technology that can be used to help students. This picture is of a school board at South Jordan Elementary where I went back to speak to Miss Sundell's class. It says, "Throw kindness like confetti." That's a great message. Think about how your inspires or develops leadership and advocacy skills. Know that social skills like marketing, networking, and presentation skills are often overlooked soft skills that are incredibly valuable to being successful after graduation, especially for students with IDD. When I was in my senior year, there was a lot to figure out about where I would go next. I had the option of graduating with my class or continuing secondary transition at South Valley School. for students with IDD. There are new university certificate programs that are similar to secondary transition but offer college experience. Independent preparedness are where schools helped me the most. I attended the Utah Developmental Disability Council's ELPS program on advocacy, leadership and policy success. That's a really good program for anyone with a developmental disability to learn about resources and how to advocate for themselves, for others. Special Olympics has been really important in my life since I joined in 2012. It's not just athletic competition, it's learning about inclusion and advocacy and being part of a movement of belonging. I truly believe in what they do, and I am proud to be an ambassador for them. Staying active is really important, so I am on a bunch of teams for different sports that I love to do. I'm on the Utah Royals SC Unified Team, Sovereign FC Soccer, Salt Lake Stars Dance and Bowling teams, and on the Blizzard Cycling and a flag football team. I'm also a huge Peloton fan. I ride daily and also use the tread for classes that I love. In March, I started working at Lucky Ones Coffee at the Marmalade Library in Salt Lake City. Right now, one of my dreams is to be a para so that I can work with disabled students. This isn't everyone, but I want to give a special recognition to some of the people who were so important to me at school. I'm so grateful for my time in Jordan School District. My message to each person here is that you can make a huge difference to a student. Disability does not define what a person is capable of, but you have to see the person through the disability. I found people who see me, and that is who I am today. For everyone here, I see you now. Thank you so much for having Trey and I talk with you today. I hope this has been good for you. And now we would like to present you with our performance from the World Winter Games from this year. Trey. From Bardonecchia, Italy. Trey and I were in the #1 division, which is the highest level of the competition. We were able to win bronze medals for our performance in Bardonecchia, Italy. We will take a minute to set up, but this is our performance of I Feel Like Dancing by Jason Mraz. After our performance, we'll be happy to meet and say hello in the cafeteria. Thank you.
Ridiculousness.